Okay, game 4 action here, and a few interesting things on this board actually. One, there's no village. Usually that's not an interesting thing. Um, but so there's no conventional village. If you want a village, you would have to use Prince on Lookout or on Raze, and both of those are not particularly attractive. So aside from Prince, there is Young Witch, and the Bane is Fortune Teller, which ain't very good. So Young Witch is going to be potent. For Trashing, you have Lookout and Raze, which are the only things you could Prince, right? And Remodel is there as well. So I consider going for Lookout and Witch, right? But then I realize, wait, Raze in this case is probably just better than the Lookout. Because at some point the Lookout is going to be dead. Not dead, but you're going to be thinking twice about playing Lookout. But Raze, you could always just like trash Raze itself and get some benefit out of that. Whereas that's not true for Lookout. So what ends up happening is that we both open with Raze and Young Witch. And here on turn 3 my opponent raises an estate and doesn't find the Young Witch, just has 4. And goes for what, if I remember correctly, I think this is a Fortune Teller for my opponent. I would have probably tried for a second Young Witch in this position. I mean, obviously you understand the Fortune Teller, right? Is the Bane for the Young Witch, but I don't know, man. Like, that's not really that good of a card, and it's not like super guaranteed to show up all the time and provide reliable defense. So I was a little bit skeptical of getting the Fortune Teller. So I'm gonna take on a purple here. You see this game is quite long, just that the number of turns were quite long, but none of them, the turn itself wasn't actually long, it just was a large number of turns. So yeah, I have to talk a bit. So Raze gets rid of an estate here. I would have liked for it to get rid of a copper, sorry, I would have liked for it to get rid of an estate. And my opponent blocks my Young Witch, so that is not a good series of turns. Fortune Teller comes and skips a bunch of things, and he's able to get up to goal. So things are looking quite bleak for me in the opening here. I now am able to raise an estate, and I'm going to get rid of the curse here and not buy anything. So I have a couple raises at this point, I believe. Or 3 raises, more than a couple, 3 raises, which I think is the correct number to have to clean up your deck. So what I didn't realize, and what I slowly realized during the game, is that Raze could actually clean you up quite nicely, especially if you have a lot of them, like 3 I think is a good number. 4 is obviously, I think 4 would be okay too. So yeah, Raze can clean up your deck quite nicely and quite quickly as well. I trashed this Raze here just trying to look for the Young Witch. No such luck for me here, and now I am going to pick up a Fortune Teller. Like it is defense, and the deck is a little bit thinner now, so maybe it will show up more reliably against the Young Witch. Not against this Witch though. So I'm gonna take on a second purple here. I removed the first one. This is the second one I'm receiving though. My opponent has 7 and goes for another gold, right? And this looks like a money game with no village in sight. So having the 2 goals this early is actually quite good for them, I believe. My Young Witch lands for the first time here, which is cool. And I am going to pick up a silver at this point over anything else. I want to try to get gold myself. And the Fortune Teller is here to save the day this time, so glad about that. Could probably raise this curse and play the Fortune Teller. And I think I do buy a mission on my turn. That's something I haven't talked about yet, the mission. Another gold for my opponent. So we have 3 gold. I have a solitary silver, I believe. Yeah, things are looking bleak. Right, so the Fortune Teller here skips, and I notice that it skips my opponent's Fortune Teller, which means it is not in his hand. So you know what? We're going on a mission. to try to junk my my opponent. So in addition, I'm able to raise a copper away here. In addition to landing the curse, that is, and just going to pass at that point. Can't buy anything, right? So what mission allows you to do here is to get thinner faster, because you could see your raises more frequently and just get rid of the coppers or whatever on your turn. And because Raze could trash itself, you could, yeah, you could manipulate things and get like 1 or 2 cards trashed at that point. So my opponent gets rid of a curse and buys a gear here on 3 with just the single gold. Probably had more money than that, but probably wants the gear. I totally understand that in a money game. Gear is top notch. This young witch gets bounced. Not a problem. Going to pick up another silver here. Still no gold for me. But I am becoming increasingly thin at this point, which I am happy about. Because what it means is that 1, the fortune teller defense is more reliable. 2, I will get to land this young witch a lot more frequently. And that's what I absolutely have to do at this point in the game, because I'm so far behind on the money front that I need to space out all those nice treasures with some purple cards, right? Let's get some yellow and purple going on, not just plain yellow. I mean, that's so plain, so vanilla. Why would you want that? Right. So young witch here only gets me up to 3, but that's what happens when you play Raze a lot, right? Your hand size is decreased. And another silver for me. Have no problem picking up the silver in this money type game here. My opponent cuts a couple cards with Raze and plays a gear. I think this time they do store a couple things with the gear. And so one nice thing with the gear, which I noticed after, is that you could save 2 cards. And if you see your young witch on the hand, which has more than 5 cards, so 7 cards then, it's very nice actually, quite nice. Because you could filter through 2 cards and probably get up to province guaranteed, as happens here. So the young witch comes on the increased hand size turn, and 11 for my opponent, which has to be a province, right? No, prince. And you should have heard me when I saw that prince, like, prince? Really? I thought that would have been for sure a province, but prince? Okay. I see your prince, no problem. Able to curse my opponent here means I'm going for the second round of curse in here, and I do get it, do manage to stick this young witch in. So my opponent has quite a bit of curses at this point, and I expect them honestly to pick up the last 2 here. I'm blocking with this fortune teller like it's a lighthouse. 8 here and another prince for my opponent. Still no province. Like, I thought about the prince. I was like, okay, yeah, I could see you putting that prince on young witch. That's actually very good. Putting the prince on young witch. It defends against the fortune teller a little bit, and it increases your reliability a lot, because you could like have that filtering effect, right? It's like a permanent in-play dungeon. Immense. Immense. So my opponent has a couple princes, but you know, they also have a bunch of curses alongside those princes. So I'm hoping, you know, that buys me enough time, because now I see the prince, I'm thinking, I don't know how much my single young witch and my single fortune teller, how long it can last if I start to green. So I might be able to get 1, 2, 3 provinces easily, but provinces 4 and 5 will be a lot more difficult. And I probably can't get all 8 to finish the game when I want to finish the game. So I am now entertaining thoughts of a prince here and prince in my young witch. I would much rather prince that than the fortune teller. Much rather do that. So here my opponent manages to get a prince out. They trash out gold to look for that prince. I don't know if that's worth it, huh? I don't think that's worth it to trash a gold out from your deck just to go find that prince. I wouldn't do it, but my opponent did it, and I guess found the prince, or found the card 2 prince in those 6 cards. So whatever, it is what it is. And the first target is the young witch, of course. So going to have that in play for the rest of the game here, filtering out, revealing this fortune teller just for show, and the second prince comes down. So they had quite a big deck. I don't know how likely it is for them to just quickly prince both of those things. I could see it more if you trash gold and have a search space of 6 cards. But yeah, just off the young witch, I don't know. Anyways, it is there now, you have to deal with it, right? And I'll look out for my opponent, which is nice. It's a neat play, because against the fortune teller, I'll probably top deck a curse. He's free to play that lookout in that case. No danger whatsoever. Here I could go for a prince, but I just want the one. I don't want to prince my fortune teller. There's no need to do all that. So what I do end up doing is trimming a copper and picking up a militia. Now, I believe this militia is going to hurt him a lot. A lot, a lot. Especially against the filtering of Young Witch. He's going to have to drop cards before he sees 2 from the Young Witch. And with the thinness or low thickness of my deck, I'm going to see that militia quite frequently, especially here. Now that I'm able to prince this young witch, that militia is going to come around a lot, and he's going to be playing with 3-card hands for the majority of the rest of the game here. And I quite like the militia. I think it's going to do a lot of work in the second half of this game. So 7 for my opponent is not 8, so that's good. I don't give him the option to buy province, of course. And I think it's just another gold for my opponent at this point. Yeah, just another gold, no problem whatsoever. 5 for me here. What I am going to do is go look for that militia right away by buying mission. And yeah, here it is. So said, so done. And what it also allows me to do is trim away this final curse from my deck. So I have no more coppers, I believe. No curses. We're just dealing in dense treasures at this point. Silvers and golds all the way. And I have the Raze there to potentially get me out of a sticky situation. Could raise itself, raise the fortune teller, because the fortune teller isn't doing much at this point, and in fact might just help his lookout. So going on a mission here, my opponent is able to get quite a bit of trashing done off the mission turns, which is, well, nice for them, of course. Just 2 curses in their deck now, I believe. And here passes it over to me, right? There's not much else you could do on the mission turn. Right, so now not gonna go for the second prince like I mentioned. 1 is enough on the young witch. No need to do anything more, I believe. I believe I have enough gas in the tank to green as heavily as I need to. So we're going to go for provinces. So I get province number 1 here. My opponent is still cleaning up a bit. This gear comes out, nothing is set aside, I believe. Just 6 here. In addition to the fortune teller, which so he has like $2 every turn for free. Well, not for free, paid for that, right? But he always starts the turn with $2. So the 2 gold gives him a province, and I'm going to buy my second province after knocking him with the militia there. So he's still being able to province even though I'm hitting him with the militia. So hopefully one of these turns I knock him on a great hand and he's not able to province. Hopefully. That is the hope. Anyway, all curses are gone from his deck now, so he is up and running with both prince things down and a lot more money than me. So I have to be aware of that. Here I am able to get the province, so I'm happy about that. He has first player here, I believe. So as long as I stay at least like level with him, he can't end the game. He has to get more points than me to win is what I'm saying. He can't get as many points as me. So I have that going for me. In this position, gear for my opponent this time after Raze comes out. And I believe here 5 is going to be what? Yes, this is the remodel for my opponent. So that's a little bit scary, an extra gain for my opponent. Additionally, okay, so here the solution is obvious, right? I get rid of the fortune teller and pick up my treasure, because I just have a lot of treasure in the back. I know that just from tracking the deck. Right, the scary thing with the remodel, you can use it twice, right? Once on your normal turn and a second time on your mission turn. But I check here against the militia attack. Like there's no way he could get 13 points even if he uses the mission turn. If he remodels gold, then he can't buy mission or he can't buy duchy. Right? If he remodels anything, he will be left with one card in his hand at the end of this turn. He can remodel on his mission turn, but that's the only thing he can get. He can't buy anything. So I felt fairly certain he couldn't get 13 points, which is why I went for that province there, of course. Raze still trashing coppers for my opponent. So here, this gold, he remodels the gold. I guess he had no other targets, but he doesn't turn it into a province, I believe. He just turns it into a duchy. I mean, that's really not what you want to be doing, right? You would much rather convert your silvers into duchies. But I guess he had nothing else. He had nothing else. Yeah, so you see the gold go into a duchy here, and he picks up the mission. And this is scarier because he has the full hand size here. And he has the filter from that guy, the young witch. The fortune teller attack does nothing on the mission turn, so which is that's good. Here, this Raze trashes itself, I believe, and the remodel comes out a second time. This time turning the lookout into a duchy, and that's all he could do, right? No buys allowed on the mission turn. So he's 6 points behind, but again, I don't think you could get 12 points on a 3-card hand. So I'm quite pleased with the militia here. That just put a halt to any possible remake shenanigans, not remake, remodel shenanigans throughout this game. So here, better thought, and yeah, he can't do it, right? There's no way. There's no way. He needs 13 points to win. He can't do it. And here, this is effectively the game because if push comes, one, I have the young witch, so I could still find like my militia. If I don't find it, I probably have Raze province into finding whatever money I need. And just a pair of duchies for my opponent, and I am going to finish out the game with the Raze. Raze did a lot of work. It did live up to its namesake. Raze the entire deck. Yeah, that's game 4 for you. This is actually quite interesting, making use of mission and Raze from Adventures. Prince as well. I found this game to be quite interesting. Alright, thanks for watching. See you in game 5 and 6.